Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Myth Busting Locksmith. Now today we're going to bust a myth wide open that I have discovered on trying to resolve a problem and having watched many YouTube videos, looked at many resolutions and realised that in fact they are all wrong and they do not work, and I have been working out to a point why they do not work. So the problem I have been watching on YouTube with is when you get a standard screw stuck, as I have done here, although with one similar, a screw stuck into a piece of wood and the head is sheared off, how do you get it out? Now, first of all the videos I've seen are using a standard screw, but as the keen-eyed amongst you will notice, this is a lock screw and this is the type that I have put in here. Now, first of all, just to highlight these before people start commenting and criticising, as you can see, a standard screw has a wider thread. It sticks out further from the screw, so it is a deeper thread. They are further apart, the angle is different, and it is generally a completely different looking screw to the standard lock screw. The grooves are smaller, the blade or thread is much tinier, it is much closer together, and it is much more straight. So if the standard screw looks like this, then these are more like this. So a lot more turning on this one to get it in and out. It's a longer screw and it is made of a much more solid, more resilient metal. So I have noted this at the beginning. I am highlighting this with you at the beginning because the issue that we will be addressing is how to get this screw out of a lock like this when it is stuck in a door and the door has been knocked and this has been twisted because it is now jammed in a metal lock at an angle where it will not come out. The videos that I've seen have all demonstrated on this. I am practicing on this, and I need to clarify this at the beginning so there is no criticism from people who are misunderstanding what we are trying to achieve. But on the note of busting myths, first of all, I tried a rubber band like this, and as you can see I have sheared the heads off deliberately. I screwed these in. I was able to screw them out by hand and screw them back in by hand, and then I sheared the heads off. I tried the rubber band method and unfortunately I failed. One mini myth busted. Then I got a thicker and fatter rubber band. I also tried this and I tried it on both screws. I tried doing anti-clockwise this way and clockwise this way. Again, I failed. So busting the myth on rubber bands. So next I tried thick, black, very tough tape with a material thread in the middle. And unfortunately, the drill bits that I was using drilled straight through it into the screw, but would not drill a hole in the screw. Now, I set two of these up, one to do everything anti-clockwise, and I'll tell you why shortly, and one to do everything clockwise in case I was missing something. So I looked at the instructions for the first set, and both these drill bits have the thread going to the left, or anti-clockwise, or in reverse, whichever terminology suits your methods. And the instruction said you use the tiny one to drill a hole straight through the middle, making sure your drill is on reverse. And then you get the larger one and you also make sure that your drill is in reverse, and again you drill straight in, and when the resistance is met with the screw and it cannot go any further, it then twists out the screw. But we are talking about a lock screw, which I will leave here. We are not talking about a standard screw. The metal is different, the hardness is different. This is a very solid piece of wood. The issue I'm trying to deal with somewhere else, and we'll put this here as a reminder, is the fact that the lock is metal. So already these are the variants, but I stand by busting the myth that the tape and elastic bands do not work. So, for more of you people that are coming up against this issue and do not know how to handle it and are not succeeding, this video is for you. Anybody else that's done it successfully, you may leave the room and go make a nice cup of tea. Because the next thing I tried were these. And again, the small one is designed to drill straight through the centre of the screw, everything in reverse, and then to use the large one to go into the screw to pull it out. Now, I have got smaller ones of these, so this is for illustration purposes so you can see it. Again, this type of screw, it did not work on. We got absolutely nowhere and I couldn't even drill a hole into the centre. So if you're looking at these to go out and buy them, don't, because they are no good. If you want this side of the screw, it will probably work. But unfortunately, the lock screw, it does not. Now, the third one I had very little faith in, and I'll put these here for you. And as you can see, these have got very round ridges, so I didn't have much hope, and I was correct. They were absolutely useless. They did not work. So far, 3 methods, I have got nowhere. Now, the fourth method I used was this one here, and as you can see, it's got quite sharp edges on, but of course I used a tiny version of this. This had little to no avail on the screw whatsoever, and it did not do what I wanted it to do. So, not one to give up, and wanting to make sure that I'm not busting myths that do not need busting, everything on this one was done in anti-clockwise as per my instructions. Everything on this one was done clockwise against the instructions, but to see what I was missing and what I wasn't achieving in what should be a simple problem to solve. So, having done this and failing all 3 times, I then looked at instructions for a small kit we will be looking at in part 2 of this video, because there will be a second part, and we are going to go live, and we're going to be recording it live so that you will see how I get on. And if I pass, fantastic, here's a kit to play. If I fail, then we can see why we're failing, and maybe somebody can suggest something to me as to what I'm missing, or it might simply be the type of screw and I need to investigate further. Now, this little kit, I read the instructions and they specifically say, make sure your drill bit is in reverse when you are drilling the hole. I cannot reiterate this point enough, because I know there'll be people wondering if I'm doing it the wrong way around. And then it says once you've drilled the hole, you get the little easy out tool, and you make sure that your drill is in reverse, and you do exactly the same again. Now, when I got this kit, what I found was, if I put this here to make it clearer, what you can see right from the outset is these are much, much smaller pieces. You have the drill bits and you have the easy outs, and as you can see, they are tiny, and I have much faith in the fact that they are going to fit very easily into the center of the screw. As well as this, you have the other little different shape ones, so you have a whole variety of sizes, the drill and the easy out, and they are marked drill, easy out. So when we come back to part 2, we'll be using this. We'll be using it live. There'll be no preset, because I want to see if I can do it in front of you and we can see it's a successful tool. And if we can't, we'll have to look at what I'm missing and what we are missing together. But beyond that, if you are trying to get a screw out of a door that is attaching a lock to the rest of the lock and door mechanism, these are absolutely useless. Don't use them. They had no effect whatsoever. The rubber bands are a myth. It really doesn't work on this type of screw. And thick black tape does not work on this type of screw. So, beyond using it on this method, it will not work on the lock screw as a standard easy out resolution. But what I also should point out at the end of this video is if somebody has sheared the head of a screw, it is unlikely, bearing in mind the force that these apply and have had no effect with, it is unlikely that the screw has gone in easily and had the head sheared off because it's used the wrong type of screwdriver head. What is more likely is that the screw would be jammed or stuck or be knocked in some way, however it is, to make it at the wrong angle to come out straight, and that is why it is stuck or jammed or just forced into a lock, or somebody's tried to use force to get it out. If you can screw it in easily and screw it out easily, it is unlikely to be somebody using the wrong head of a screwdriver, which is what they've always suggested on the videos. If you shear the head off, it's stuck or it is jammed, in which case you need force, you need heavy duty tools, and these are not suitable. And I would bust the myth that where you have people getting a standard size screw like this, putting it in again, putting it straight out with a rubber band or with a black tape here, one of these easy out kits, it is unlikely that the head has been sheared off with anything more than a tool they've used. It would not be from using the wrong size type of screwdriver. If, on the other hand, you are using a lock screw and you're trying to attack that, it certainly wouldn't be sheared off by using the wrong screwdriver. It would again be because it is jammed or it is stuck rigid, And of course this is a different type of metal, or that's a bigger one. You can feel the weight is significantly different, and so there's a different problem, different issue altogether. So I hope you find this helpful, and I hope you found this useful, and if you have indeed yourself failed to do this, then hopefully this will show that it's not you. Sometimes it's the tools, it's the type of the screw, and it is not what you are doing wrong whatsoever. And if you like this video, there will be a part 2. We're coming back to this. We're going to use this in front of you. We're going to be trying both of these, and we are going to see how we can get on. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting. But just to bust the myth, tape, rubber bands, this type of thing may work on this type of screw if you screwed it in by hand nice and easily. It will not work on this type of lock screw. And as for those saying, oh, I sheared the head off the screw because they used the wrong type of screwdriver or the wrong size, that again I believe is a myth, because it's absolute rubbish. If you can screw it in, you can screw it out. If you screw it in and something changes due to weather or angle or abuse, then it's going to get stuck. This is not going to be a simple problem of I used the wrong screwdriver. Thank you for watching. I hope I've helped you, and if you are interested, please do leave comments. Please do give me a little thumbs up and let me know what you think. And of course, join me again in a few days for part 2, where we'll be opening this up, inspecting it together, looking at it, and we're going to apply it on both of these together to see how we get on. Thank you for watching.